Bloody hell. What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. That's heavy, that's the weighs. That is solid cast iron. It weighs a ton. Mind you, everything on here weighs a ton. These are all the component, yeah, like the big assembly bits off the lathe. So we've got the weighs there. That's the headstock, the saddle, all the drivetrain, chuck, covers, thread cutting gearbox, tailstock. I've got the pulleys for the drive over there. It's all down to big chunks now. So the cabinet is just on its own. So, because I want to start with the cabinet, if I can get all that sorted and looking nice and blah blah blah, then I can squirrel that away in the corner and then go to town on each of these bits. That will be the next thing, because that's the next thing that has to bolt onto it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to work my way down the bench and do bits and pieces, basically in the order that I took them off. Although it might be an idea to put the thread cutting gearbox on before I do the headstock, because that was a right pig to get to those Allen keys. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. All right, let's get this outside. Right, we're going to leave that in the sunshine to dry off a little bit. It looks really good actually. The paint on the outside it's not flaking off or anything else. It's been all hand brushed on and all that malarkey. The paint inside has suffered a bit down the bottom, and I would imagine that's just where stuff gets chucked in it, or you know, fluids collect, or I don't know, whatever it is. There's no rust on it anywhere. So what we're going to do, I'll leave it to dry out there. Going to get an angle grinder with one of them wire bits on it, and we're just going to go over the, you know, where the paint has come off. We're going to get any loose stuff off, take it back. The whole thing will get blown off again and, you know, cleaned up. I'll go over the whole thing with acetone after it's all DA'd and, you know, tap rags and all that stuff, and then we're going to get it painted. If I can get that done and get it set up in the corner, we are off to a proper good start. I don't want it to be, and it ain't gonna be, a showroom shine finish. It's a lathe. It's gonna work for a living. It owes me money. But I just want it presentable and preserved so it's gonna last. That's the whole idea. So that's the next bit. Right, it's all been sanded down. So let me just show you. It don't look the best, it looks proper antique-y now. But as you can see, it's all been DA'd down. There's no shiny bits on it or anything. Took out loads, it was all hand brushed on, which is going to be again, but there was loads of paint runs and all that sort of stuff. There was a little bit of rust around the bottom, so I've got the angle grinder on that and just took it down to bare metal again. So there ain't any rust on it. but I haven't stripped it right down all over to bare metal. I've just flattened it all off. So this is what I'm going to be doing next. I've got primer and I've got machinery enamel paint. So this, I mean, this is the colour it's going to be going. Just like if that's white, can you see this? There you go. So if that's white, it's just going this light grey colour. Why did I go for that instead of staying with the blue? See, I'm thinking about you. At some point, I'm bound to film me doing something on it, and it would just be better to have it a lighter colour really, because it'll bounce the light around a little bit more. So it'll be a bit clearer on the videos. But a lighter colour, you know, good incentive to keep it clean and tidy and all the rest of it. It'd probably make it look quite institutionalised, but I don't care. This is the primer that's recommended to go with it. It's basically just like a zinc oxide primer. You can get it in red, you can get it in grey. I've gone for grey, just because the top coat is going to be grey as well. But basically, this is going to get, come on, everything is going to get covered in this primer, be it paint or bare metal. Just brush and roller it on, but I think I've got a little roller somewhere. I'll have to dig that out. And then we're going to let that cure, and then we're going to get the top coat on it. Get an idea as to what it's going to start looking like, eh? Right. Right, I've degreased all this inside here with acetone. It was quite greasy. Had the engine degreaser on it, which did a fair job. Which did do a fair job. But I want to make sure this stuff is going to stick. So it's all been degreased with acetone. I'll do the inside first and then we'll start on the outside. I do like these little plates and stuff that you get on here, with all the way you got to oil it and all that sort of stuff. I can't really get them off because they're pin riveted. But I think for now all I'm going to do is paint around them. I'm going to have a chat with Tony later and see if I can get some new ones, you know, some replacement ones. And if that's the case, then I'll just have the top off these rivets, have it off, flat it off again and paint it, and I'll put new ones on all over. Just because I really like them. I don't know why, but I just really do. Today is also a very good day to be doing painting. Although you wouldn't guess it from looking out there. Basically, it's quite warm. It's not hot, it is quite warm though. But it's also been raining earlier on. Which is the main reason it's a good day to paint, because there's no bugs, there's no flies or anything after it's just rained. And if I can, I always pick a day like that to be doing painting on stuff, just because you don't spend ages getting it all nice and blah blah blah, and then you get a million bugs all stick themselves to it. Top tip. Right, that's it. The inside is all primed. And my legs gone to sleep because I've been sitting on the floor for ages. Is it the best job? No, it ain't. Because I did it with a brush. I ain't gonna, I've got products and stuff in here that I sell on, and I ain't gonna start rattle canning anything in here. And apart from that, with brushing, getting all the little nadgery bits and pieces and stuff anyway. Yes, there are brush strokes in it. On the inside, do I care? No, I don't. It is all covered though. It's got a proper good coating, so we're off to a good start as far as protecting it goes. As far as the outside goes, I've got a little roller down here somewhere, so I might have a go at that. They also supply thinners with it, so I might even give that a bash and see how that goes. Otherwise, the outside is going to be a brush finish as well, which currently it is anyway. It's not, you know, it's not a perfect finish. It's never going to be. Right, I need to chip off. We'll be back tomorrow and we'll have a crack at the other side. Right, it is another day. I painted the cabinet. That's had, it's all primed up and all that malarkey, and then I've gone over it with the enamel paint. I just rolled all that on. You don't need to see that, that's just colouring in. But now this is turned up. A Vapor Rust, super safe rust remover. Yeah. Craig swears by this stuff. He uses it all the time, and he uses it in his ultrasonic as well. And there's a couple of other fellas who's chipped in saying, get some of this, it's awesome. So I got some and it's turned up today. I've hoofed it in here and it looks like someone peed in my ultrasonic bath. It is a worrying colour. If anybody did pee in it, they need to get checked out, because that's not right. I'm warming it up just because everything works better with a bit of heat, but we do have a few rusty bits to chuck in here and see how it gets on. When I say rusty, it's not rusty, but it does have, like, it's all discoloured, it's got a little bit of rust around the jaws and all that sort of stuff. So the chuck is going in, we'll see how that does, and probably the one off the tailstock as well. Oh, that's good, it just covers it. Ideal. Let's get the other chuck in there. We probably might as well have a go at the tailstock next, I suppose. And I also want to have a go at the ways. The rails are, I mean, there's a little bit of surface rust, patina I think they call it. And I want to get rid of it. I want to take them back as best I can. There are a couple of little nicks in it, which I ain't going to do anything about. You might as well go in there as well. Come on. There we go. And the chuck all works and everything. It's a little bit... Can you hear that? Yeah. But we'll see what that turns out like as well. So that can all go in there. We'll get it vibrating in a minute, because you won't hear me if I do it now. And we'll just leave that to cook for a bit. What I'm going to do with the ways, it says it on the instructions, but this other fella who, I'm sorry, I missed your name. I will find out what what your name is, and I'll stick it up on the thing, just so people know that you've been a helpful chap. But what he said to do is to get some rags or cloth or something. I've got blue roll, which is close enough. I'm going to soak it in that stuff and I'm going to lay it all on top of this. I'll give it a wipe down first up actually, just to get anything loose off it. And we're going to lay these wet rags on top of it and see if that does anything to help get it off. I'm probably going to end up Scotch brightening them, just to, you know, try and brighten them up a little bit. They can come out. But that's what we're going to do. We'll give it a bash and see if this works. Right. Right, it says on here, safe on all surfaces and will not harm copper, brass, alloy, plastic, rubber or vinyl. The Vapor Rust is non-toxic. I don't know, I want to drink it, it looks like wee. Biodegradable. Most biodegradable things are rubbish and contains no acids or alkalis. They're the stuff that gets stuff clean. It's non-flammable and contains no petroleum solvents. Fair enough. Directions: use at 18 degrees centigrade or warmer. Well, we're going for 50. We're already at 23, so it should be working. Not seeing anything yet. Pum pum pum. How long is it going to take? Small object de-rusting, blah blah blah. 1 to 12 hours depending on the depth or age of rust. Okay. For best results, soak for 24 hours. We can do that. Right, let's get in 24 hours then. Let's turn this on. I'll tell you what, we'll give you 10 minutes on vibrating and then we'll have a look and see what's what. Yeah, let's try that. Right, this is after 10 minutes. Well, that's mucky. That's very mucky. Let me show you. This is just 10 minutes. It's currently at 34 degrees. Yeah, 34 degrees. So we're still not up to 50 degrees yet. Look at the muck in there. So it's obviously done something, eh? Nice and warm. Ooh, look at that. Oh, that's oh, it feels real brunchy now. How do chucks come apart? Oh, looks like it's all pinned in that, doesn't it? It's got to come apart somehow, isn't it? That don't look bad. Well, that's working. Where's the little chuck key? These come up lovely, look. Yeah, it's come up lovely actually. Still a little bit of smoothing stuff on there, but I think that's where it's been hardened or blued or whatever. How about the big beastie? Oh, it's getting there, look. Is this going to rub off? Yeah, it's all coming off and it's shiny underneath. Could do with a bit more, I think, yeah. Does it work? Oh, hello, we're stuck. Why are we stuck? Oh, no, bit of movement. A little bit. Because this was all solid before. I'm going to have all this chuck apart. And give it a proper clean up. But anyway, he can go back in there for a bit, I think. So that was 10 minutes. Let's give it another 10. See where we are then. Alright, time. 10 minutes. Go. Oh, smoking. Quite warm. Bit graunchy. But it's all moving free. Actually, I don't feel that bad. Not by a long shot. Right, it'll do. We'll give him a scrub up in a second. I'll probably stick this on a Scotch-Brite and see how good I can get it. And then it's all going to get soaked in oil. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to pull it apart. Because it'd be nice to get in there and just get rid of any grit and, you know, old schmoo where it's been oiled and all that sort of stuff. So he's all right. Chuck key is done. That looks lovely. And the main chuck oh, that is going to be good. Right. How are you moving now? I mean, this is probably this chuck is probably just dead, in all honesty. I mean, stuff is moving, but the jaws themselves ain't. They're all sort of stuck in place. So what we will do, we're going to let this cool down, because obviously it's all expanded. Going to let it cool down, and I'm going to see if I can get it apart. See if we can't clean it up and make it look nice. I want to see what the scrolls are like, because I'm willing to bet there's loads of crap and stuff in there, and it's probably been over tightened. But we shall see. We shall see. Right. Okay, he can go at one side, because he's going to get used again. I'm impressed with this though. I mean, that's like 20 minutes. Alright, it's been warmed up to 48 degrees. Still not at 50. And it's gone through for 20 minutes, and this was rusty as anything. And it's come up lovely. Right. Yeah, we'll be using him again. Good thing about that stuff is apparently it's not like a one-time shot deal. It's not like, oh, it's all mucky now, you've got to bin it. You can just, like, you know, drain it back into the bottom and just keep using it. And if you get any big chunks in there, just pass it through a cloth. I don't know, you know, anything like this really, just to catch the majority of it. That'll filter out all the bits, and you can just reuse it again. I don't know how long it lasts. I think it's one of those things that over time it loses its effectiveness. But that's money well spent, I think. I'm impressed. Right, so there's the chuck. It's cleaned up lovely. I just shoved it on the Scotch-Brite just to take the surface smear and stuff off that was left. That vaporous stuff, it does leave like a, it definitely gets rid of the rust, but it leaves like a dull sort of, it's just like a layer of just nasty on top of it, basically. I can't describe it, I don't know what it is. And it does just rub off, and as you start rubbing it off, even just with a Scotch-Brite pad like this, you start seeing shiny stuff underneath. So I just shoved it on the Scotch-Brite wheel and just took the rest of it off because it was quick. It's all quite, like, yeah, it operates and everything else nicely. I would like to have all this apart, but to do it you need a press, and I ain't got a press. So what we're going to do now is, because we ain't going to need this for a bit, so I'm just going to shove it in here, top it up with some oil, and I'm just going to let it soak. And I'll keep going back and working it and all the rest of it. It's just, you know, I think it would be a worthwhile thing to do. Right, so we'll just shove him in here, tip some oil in, seal the other end up, and then they can just sit there soaking. This is just old engine oil, basically. Well, not old, you know, it ain't been used. But we'll shove some of that in there. Seal the end up, and then I can just forget about it until it's time to stick it back on. Right. Right, he's done. Right, that came apart relatively easy. There is a bit of surface smearing here that needs to go. Each of the jaws is numbered, so we've got 3 there, number 1 there, number 2 there. However, if you look on here, number 3 jaw was in number 2 slot. Number 2 was in number 1, and number 1 was in number 3. Why would that be the case? They do come out one after the other, because obviously you can flip the jaws around and all that sort of stuff. So you can either hold an inside diameter or an outside diameter. And they're in the wrong slot. So I don't really understand why. Is that the right one? No. I can't get used to Imperial. Is that one? Yes. Right. Come on, come off. Why aren't you coming off? Right. Right, for love nor money. For love or money, I can't get this backing plate off the chuck. I've cleaned it up as best I can, and it has, you know, it's come up nice and that. You know, certainly a lot more respectable than it is. But I need to get this backing plate off so I can have it apart and I can check all the scrolls, and I want to give all in here a damn good clean, which means I need to pull the whole thing apart, and I just can't get it apart. So this is going to get the oil treatment same as the chuck did. All I'm going to do is just soak it in old oil. Hopefully it will sort of work its way in there. There we go. And then I'll stand a chance of getting it apart. Ain't going to do it any harm just soaking it in oil anyway. Probably do it a favour. It all moves quite freely and easily. You can see that. Don't feel graunchy or anything. But I still want to get in there and check it for wear and stuff. And you know, then I could get in and give these a proper good clean up and stuff as well. So that's what I'm doing. So he can go in there. Tip a load of oil in it. And hopefully some of it will find its way inside and it might loosen things up a little bit. Even if it doesn't, I was going to say I don't really care, but I do, because I want it to work right. Right. Oh look, it's got a hole in it. Where have you got a hole in? Where have you got a hole in? Or was that just me being clumsy? It's probably me being clumsy actually. It has, it's got a bloody hole in it. Oh, it's definitely getting there. definitely cleaning up, doing something anyway. I'll leave all that for tomorrow. This stuff smells quite funky as well. Right, what else? I suppose we navigate the tailstock, because that looks horrible. Look at the rust on this. That's proper at it. Although, well, I don't know. We'll see what that stuff does, I suppose. Right, how does all this come apart? Says Gibbs that. Right, I'm gonna have to make another one of them because we're not having wood on it. Alright, grab a screw there. Towards that shaft. So that's just on a cam. Well, let's see if we can get the base off first, I suppose. Right, these are the bit they've come out of the ultrasonic with the vapor rust in. I'm just giving the machine surfaces a little bit of a clean. I'm only using the Scotch-Brite, that's it. Nothing nastier than that. And it's just to sort of brighten them up and get them back to a, you know, you get rid of the schmoo basically. So I haven't took any material off it. I've just cleaned it up. I did shove these two bits in with the paint on, because I wanted to see what the vapor rust did to the paint, and it has softened it. You can sort of, well, you can't dig your nail into it, but it's got that sort of feeling to it. So all the paint is going to get stripped off these. Still deciding on the best options for doing that. What I could do is mask all this off, do it with like 2 layers of duct tape or something like that, shove it in the shop blaster and have at it. The only thing is I've got, I suppose I could wind a bolt through there with a washer top and bottom. It's not like, you know, this is just the clamping thing, so it's not like it's massively important. It's these surfaces here which are the important bit. So what I might do is mask them over. It's going to be sat that way in the shop blaster anyway. Obviously seal the ends up as well. I'll put a bung in it or something like that, and then have at it with the shop blaster and just get it down to metal, because it's, you know, if you was to paint over this, you would see all the edges. So I'm probably going to end up doing that, I think. That's going to be interesting because he's got a hole right through the middle. We'll come to that one in a minute. That one's pretty easy. I could dress most of that down with a DA. It's only the middle bit, and that's underneath it anyway. Right, as far as the wheels and everything else goes, they've not come up too bad. Had a little go with the Scotch-Brite wheel just to see what sort of the finish would come up. It does have a few little nicks and dinks and stuff like that in it, which I'm not fussed about. Yeah, it's going to be a working machine at the end of the day. The shafts come up lovely, as has everything basically. It's all lovely and clean. I put all the little grub screws through as well, so they're all nice and sweet. I was reading through the manual as well. Anything that tells you to oil, it says to use machine oil, not engine oil. Well, the chucks and stuff, they're staying in it because they're in it now. Ain't gonna do them any harm. But for now, what I'm doing, if I'm sorting out anything and then I just want to give it a coat of oil or something, it's just getting 3-in-1 oil at the minute. I haven't got any machine oil. I need to get some, because that's going to be part of the regular routine maintenance and stuff. But for now, that stuff will do. Right, let's see what I can do here. Right. Right, so this is it all cleaned up, duct taped all around the, the machine surfaces and blocked up that hole and all that sort of stuff. Nothing got in anywhere, which is kind of cool. The only thing I used the shock blaster for was like in here where I'm not going to get a DA or like a grinding thingy. All the rest of it I've just dressed down with the DA and the finger file. So that's it. Is it the best finish? No, it ain't, but there's loads of little dimples and stuff. It's a casting, isn't it? Also uncovered a number here, 3666-4. Whatever that is, I don't know. But yeah, so no damage done on the bottom. That's all lovely. All the bits I wanted to protect is protected. This is just like a brass insert that like a clamp goes through and it pushes out and a couple of pulls in here just to lock the quill. So I had a washer on top, shoved a bolt through it, another one underneath, which is handy because that one's recessed and it fitted in there lovely. Wound all that up and nothing got in there. Even though you're staying clear of all the bits that you've taped up or wound a bolt in, the grinding dust just finds a way in somehow. So this is all going to go through the parts washer and get cleaned up, just to make sure that there's no, you can see there's dust on the bottom of this. I want to wash all this off completely, and then tomorrow she's getting painted, sorted. Ooh, well, it's definitely doing something. I think it's just sticking the paper to it now. I might have to have this off before I go home tonight. Unless I can always have another go tomorrow. Well, it's definitely doing something, look. But the paper towel is turning to smush. And that's sticking to the ways. However, it has lifted the rust off. It has changed a bit of the colour of it. Definitely. I'm not sure paper towel is the best thing to use because it sort of turns to this, it's almost like sticky tape now. Like insulation tape, when you pull it off after it's been on for like 5 years and got wet and hot and everything else, it just sticks to everything. That's what the paper towel's gone like. So that's coming off tonight because otherwise I'll have that to deal with in the morning. And that won't be a lot of fun. But let's see how we've done. Right. So I've just dunked this in the washer in some of the fluid. It is definitely cleaning it up, look. But you get like this sticky. That's just weird. They're better than they was, but I think I need to do this with rags rather than paper towels. Well, they're better than they were, but I'd like to get them cleaner than this. I need to not use, see look, this is all still a bit and see what I mean about it all just sort of sticks to it and turns to this. It's weird. It went on soaking wet. It's probably been on 4 hours at a guess, something like that. But the paper towel just sort of, oh no, it's weird. If you're tempted to do this, don't use blue roll. Use rags. And to be fair, that's what the fella said. I just didn't have any at hand. So I might be grabbing a couple of t-shirts tomorrow and doing it again. It's definitely helped. Definitely helped. But we ain't there yet. I have made a right mess today. There's stuff everywhere. However, a fair bit done. I mean, we're doing all right, I think. Cabinet is all painted. You know, the stand that it's all going to sit on. So that's all enamelled and whatnot. It takes quite a long time to go off. So that's just getting left as is. And tomorrow I'll come back and we'll get it sorted. I need to try and get some thick rubber pads just for it to sit on to take some of the vibration out, and then I can squirrel it away in the corner and start putting stuff on it as I get it done, because I'll need my bench back. I can't do anything in here until this lathe is sorted, basically, because I ain't got a bench to work on. Stuff is everywhere. So we'll get him squared away tomorrow. These ways, I think they're going to be all right, actually. These little nicks that I've got up here, they go in, they don't stick up, so I don't think it's going to interfere with the carriage. Yeah, with the apron as it goes up and down. I've had a straight edge on it, they do all go in, but I do want to get this cleaned up a little bit more. I've put some 3-in-1 oil on it just for now, and we'll have another go tomorrow, because if I can get those ways sorted, then I can clean the whole thing, degrease it, and I can get that painted along with the tailstock, and I can get that shoved on top of it. And then it's a case of tackle one assembly at a time, strip it right down, clean it all up, make sure all is good, paint it, put it back together again, and stick it back on the lathe. So that's what we're doing, one piece at a time. So anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. Blinding comment, I didn't know so many of you as all machinists and stuff that watch the channel, which is quite cool. There's a few fellas that have got Boxford lathes, you know, some with Chinesian ones and everything, but everybody seems to love what they got. So, you know, people really do seem to be interested in this. It's not going to be a pristine restoration job. I have to make that clear. This is going to be a machine that works for a living. So as long as it comes out respectable and it lasts and it works as it should do, I'm happy. Andy did pump me a link to a fella who's recently restored a MacLeod lathe, and he did a spanky job on that. I mean, it looks better than new. Really, really good. At some point, I may go that route. I don't know. But for now, you know, I've got a plan in mind, and that's what I'm sticking to, and I ain't changing. I need my bench back, I need that over there, and I need it working. So anyway, more of this to follow. Thank you ever so much for watching. Do hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you again soon. Laters!